How can you expect me to feel hot playing your game when I can't even see or imagine myself in it? Howdy, howdy, and welcome back to another episode of From the Desk of Monique Starr, where I break down the ins and outs of my experiences with the adult industry and critique it from an intersectional lens. Today, I am taking off my provider and creator hat and putting on my media educator one to talk about something near and dear to my heart and my loins, if you know what I mean, and that is Gooner games. A term to describe a person who self-pleasures or consumes spicy content for prolonged periods of time. Gooning stretches far beyond tube sites, tabs, and fan site subscriptions, and has now been wrapped up in the gaming space. As a lover of all things smutty, quirky, a little weird, and deeply unserious, I am no stranger to these types of games. In fact, I have played and watched several and can attest to them being fun, chaotic, and sometimes even arousing. Big whoop. We're all adults here. And like non-sex based games, Gooner games come in all genres, from smutty Suika games such as Cumdy, where you match balls to make monsters like Krampus show off his Christmas cookie. Cause baby, he turned around and he was trying to show me that cookie. To visual novels like Bonjour, Cream Inside, where you play as an aspiring pastry chef who stuffs cream in more than just puffs, if you know what I'm saying. To puzzle games like Horny Warp, where the MC solves puzzles to pleasure mystical baddies. They even have survival games like Wicked Island, where you can create your character, craft weapons, and sprint through the forest in a thong and nipple covers while evading werewolves. There is quite literally a game to whet every and anybody's appetite, and I'm living for the variety. Now, here's where the bad news comes in. Despite there being a plethora of games to choose from, the elements in most of these games are still quite limited, especially when it comes to character design. Deep Negro spiritual sigh. Now, I know you must be thinking, Monique, isn't this an issue with the gaming industry as a whole? My response to that would be, yes, and. Yes, we all know that the gaming industry, despite coming a long way, still struggles with having diversity in games, which is a tale as old as time, as Angela Lansbury said. And Gooner games inevitably are an extension of that, but there is something that is still quite fishy about it. As your resident hottie and media educator, it goes without saying that all media has a desirability problem where tropes highlight Eurocentric beauty standards of thinness, shapeism, lookism, and other white supremacist constructs. To just give a few examples as to what I've seen in Gooner games, I'm going to run it back a bit to that example of Wicked Island, where I would like to discuss the character creation process and how from jump, we are already being thrown Eurocentric beauty standards. So when we first crack open the game, you are met with a title screen and also met with a very thin white woman, blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, very typical hot white woman. And when you get into the character creator, you not only start off with that same thin blonde haired and blue eyed white woman, but the sliders and the names of various presets are quite problematic too. When we look at the sliders, especially if we're talking about fatness, they only go but so far. So the fat bodies still remain and maintain this hourglass shape, which includes having very large extremities like larger breasts and larger butts, but there really isn't a stomach. As you can imagine, textured hairstyles are not present. And one thing that really took me aback is that there's even an eye preset named Asian to denote monolid eyes, which I'm like, come on now, this is what we're doing in a game? Like, y'all couldn't just call it a monolid eye? Another example of how whiteness shows up in these games is in Bonjour, Cream Inside, and in Horny Warp. There are no black or POC NPCs or NPCs that are fat. There aren't any disabled characters from what I can see, and essentially there are no NPCs that do not deviate from the thin white cis-assumed body, unfortunately. These graphics are shaped in the image and desires of the white male gaze, only seeking to perpetuate Eurocentricity, which leads to fetishization and the complete erasure of marginalized individuals. Now, I normally do not like playing devil's advocate, but I need y'all to walk with me. In slight, and I say it again, slight defense of these games, I understand they are made with very simple mechanics to optimize one-handed gameplay, if you catch my drift. However, that doesn't detract from the fact that the representation matters and it still should be present. And on some real shit, the simplicity of the game mechanics should leave game devs with enough financial and creative space to expand their character creation capabilities. Y'all got so much time and energy to make boundless fantasies come to life, yet there is still a persistent struggle to create black NPCs, fat MCs, and trans characters that aren't just white femboy witches. How can you expect me to feel hot playing your game when I can't even see or imagine myself in it? And if y'all can code well-endowed werewolves and harpies in bikinis, then you should be able to make 4C hair, you should be able to make big bellies, and characters with mobility aids. It's not that damn hard. Y'all just don't see it as a necessity due to a choice of being negligent. The fact that y'all sit up here and make everybody look the same it really shows the lack of care that you have in making things more accessible and more inclusive, because I know a lot of y'all may sit up here and say, well, the bedroom is not political. But as Erica Hart says, the bedroom absolutely is political, and it really highlights the ways that we see ourselves, the ways that we see our bodies, and most importantly, how we see other people's selves and bodies too. These things are not these things are interconnected. And like, if you think that that's not going to come out while you're playing a game, or it's not going to show up in how people design a game, then you were sadly mistaken. To my Gooner game devs, I'm going to hold your hand firmly when I say this. Y'all gotta lock in and do the fuck better. Hire the black writers, hire disabled consultants, hire fat game designers, indigenous storytellers, and POC voice actors. Y'all need to be incorporating diversity into every single part of the process so that you can represent everyone, not just the bodies you deem palatable. Now, we may not be able to completely separate ourselves and our bedrooms from the reality that is white supremacy, but we damn sure can start with making our virtual worlds more inclusive, intersectional, and intentional. For the gamers and content consumers watching this video, please drop your Gooner game recs in the comments so that I can review them. In my series, Smutty Finds with Monique Starr, I review all kinds of spicy content from manhwa to games in detail on this channel, so your recommendations will definitely come in handy. Game developers, if y'all are looking for a consultant, writer, or even some voice acting, I am your boy. I have a lot of experience with media consulting with a specialization in marginalized communities, and I am also a writer by trade. So please, 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 and this is a very unshameless plug because y'all need all the help y'all can get, feel free to reach out to my email in the description box so that we can connect and build a better, hotter world together, one word, pixel, and character at a time. Well, folks, I am afraid the saloon doors are closing yet again on another episode, and as the old saying goes, y'all ain't gotta go home, but y'all gotta get the hell up out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.